Systematic desensitization is a technique developed by behavioural psychologists to treat anxiety and phobias. The animal is exposed to a fear-evoking object or situation at an intensity that does not produce an undesirable response. In this video, we are going to observe Kai, who is undertaking a program of desensitization within the vet room, and also a counter-conditioning program to teach him touch acceptance and veterinary examination. During the process of desensitization, it's essential that the animal stays relaxed when exposed to the scary situation or the scary stimuli. Before beginning the desensitization process, I would want to ensure that owners were fully aware of appeasement signals, such as those listed here, as well as stress indicators that the animal may give off to tell us that we are inadvertently sensitizing them to the scary object. By understanding these signals well, we can tell how the animal is feeling emotionally during this process. Here we see Kai's emotion change just by adding a little bit of touch. And by understanding how he's feeling about that touch, we can adjust our desensitization program accordingly. At this stage in the program, we're desensitizing Kai within the confines of the vet room itself, where he previously hasn't been, and so is now exposed to a lot of the compound stimuli that we've previously desensitized in a neutral environment. This process of desensitization is breaking the target behaviour down into bite-sized chunks that the animal can deal with, and identifying what these bite-sized chunks are often the difficult thing for owners to do. When I'm explaining the process to owners, I like to get them to think of a ladder, with the top of the ladder being the target behaviour, and then we work backwards from the top on each rung, developing a training plan until we get to the bottom, which becomes our start point. And as long as this start point is within the animal's threshold, and we can ensure that we're not sensitising the stimuli, then this becomes our place where we start. Ensure that we have relaxation before we move on to the next rung of the ladder, and gradually move towards the target. So at the moment on Kai's ladder, we're about halfway through, and what we've got is him desensitising within the confines of the vet room, but we're also starting to introduce a little bit of touch whilst watching for all those appeasement behaviours and the animal wanting to move away. I like to break the animal's body down into green, amber and red zones for the owners to clearly understand where it's okay for them to touch and for what type of touch is appropriate for that particular area. And here listed are the green, amber and red zones that we've identified for Kai. As well as bringing awareness to the area of the dog's body that the owners are touching by using the green, amber and red zones, I also like to get the owners thinking about how they're touching the animal. So I ask them to think about the duration of the touch, how long they're touching a particular part, and also how hard they're touching the dog's body. So going back to the ladder, the bottom rung for the start of the program on touch would look something like a small amount of duration of touch, very gently, in a green area of the dog's body. There are a number of other variables that we would want to desensitise the animal to, so that when we place all of these stimuli together, the animal remains under threshold. The handler doing the touch is clearly a key area, and making sure that we develop a nice relationship between the animal and the handler is essential. Where possible, we could ask the vet to get involved in this part of the process, but clearly that's not always practical. Another variable to think about would be the location of the touch. Clearly this is going to start away from the scary context, so in this example with Kai, a lot of the touch work was started in a calm training environment, and then we've built up different locations. Finally, we could also consider desensitising the different types of equipment that the animal is going to be exposed to during examination. I personally think it's a good strategy, however, to separate this into a different programme. There can often be quite powerful negative emotional responses attached to just individual implements, and so I think counter-conditioning these is a much better strategy. So just to bring everything together, the process so far has involved a variety of different rungs on the ladder. We introduced relaxation work away from the vet suite in a calm controlled environment. This process involved the use of the Relax program, some games, some fun, some confidence builders, and also Tellington Touch to develop some confidence in touch and relationship with the handler. We also decided at that point to counter condition some of the ways that the vet would want to touch Kai away from the vet suite itself. At this part in the programme, we also counter conditioned some of the implements that the vet would want to use on Kai. I decided to individually desensitise Kai to different compound stimuli that he would be exposed to just by being in the vet suite. So I wanted to incorporate the olfactory smells that he would have, and also some of the visual indicators. So we used things like the vet scrubs, we used the weight machine, we used the table that he would perhaps see. We also wanted to desensitise and develop relationship with the vet nurse and the vet, and this was done at this stage in the programme. We were very sure that we wanted to teach him a layout behaviour that would enable us to examine his body quite easily. So we developed a nice steady sit in which we could then counter condition some parts of touch and some parts of examination over the dog's body. Finally, we started to introduce the counter conditioning touch with different compound stimuli that he was going to experience, and this is a stage that we pick up the video going forward. So we continue straight on from the programme that we were viewing earlier of desensitisation, and once we have relaxation in Kai, we are now going to go into some counter conditioning to ear work and touch around about the previous red zones that we had experienced with him.